Dear listeners, good morning and welcome to Comdarchi, the podcast that opens the doors to the fascinating world of architecture. For newcomers, let me introduce myself. I'm the spokesperson of Anne-Charlotte Despont, PhD in History of Architecture, published author, head of a communication and development agency based in Paris, France, dedicated to architecture. Let's meet every week to discuss culture and architecture with specialists and learn how to look at projects through a context and diversity lens. To offer you the best content, Philippe Henry, sound engineer, is at the technical helm of the podcast. Thank you for being with me today, and now it's time for talent.
Bienvenue dans Comdarchi.
Bonjour Isabel van Haute et Thomas Coldefy.
Hello, Isabel van Haute and Thomas Coldefy.
Hello.
Hello.
Bienvenue dans ce podcast.
Welcome to this episode of Comdarchi Podcast, Season 2.
Nous allons présenter en une...
We're going to present in 10 minutes your architectural project
le NationalPulse
for the NationalPulseMemorial&Museum located in Orlando, USA.
et conçu par votre agence
And designed by your agency, Coldefy Architects Urbanistes.
en partenariat avec l'agence
In partnership with the RDAI agency, known for having worked a lot with the luxury brand Hermès.
pour la marque de luxe Hermès. Vous êtes mandataire sur ce projet.
You are a representative on this project, which is a real city project.
Pouvez-vous décrire brièvement votre
Could you
projet
briefly describe your project, reminding us of the terms of the order,
et nous expliquer pourquoi
and explain why, in your opinion, you won the contract?
Sure. So it's an open competition which we got interested in because the subject was quite particular and beautiful. Because it's the memorial and the museum for the Pulse, which is a nightclub where there was a shooting in 2016. And after the shooting, the owner started a foundation. And this foundation launched a competition, an international architectural competition, to create a memorial and a museum and an urban walk to memorize, to remind us of this tragedy and to remind all the victims. Because it was an open nightclub, very open to everybody, and in which somebody entered and shot 49 people, and there was a lot of victims also. We decided to reunite only people we are used to working with. So it's our office, and we decided to join together with RDAI, which is a Parisian office, which we worked with before several times, and we like working with them. We thought it was necessary to join forces, and so we asked an artist, Xavier Veilhan, a French artist, to join the team. We also have urban planners and landscape designers with us, which is TER, TER. And then we have Dax Seno for the museography. So it's a team we were used to working with, and we were all passionate about this subject. The whole process was first describing our intentions. It was not really already making a project, but it was writing our feelings, writing how we would abord this subject, our thoughts, our feelings. And we made this document which was graphically very representative of our office. We wrote just what we felt. We thought it was a very sensitive subject. We made sketches, and we asked other people to make sketches. We were really in correlation with what we wrote in this document. And it helped us to get selected. There was a site visit also. The owners thought it was very important to really throw the architects in this project while visiting the club. So the club was sealed by the FBI since the shooting, so we had the opportunity to go in to really see the current state of the nightclub, and we also met quite some parents who lost their children in that club, or a family member. So it was very in emotion. It was very, very emotional, very strong. So we started to work on this competition. There were 6 teams selected from all over the world. There was MVRDV from Holland. There was Henningen Pen. There was Dillers Cofidio, Studio Libeskin.
Very famous.
All very famous, and with all of them a lot of experience in museum and memorial. And we didn't. So the client called us saying, congratulations, you got selected. And we're so happy to work with a team that we don't know yet. We are very curious what you guys can do. And in the beginning, they said we're going to visit each office because it's very important for us to get to know the team very well. But then afterwards, they said we can't go like traveling all over the world. We are asking every team to make a small video or to present yourself. And they announced it like 2 weeks before we had the first submission of the competition. So we made something quick very quick. We couldn't think a lot. We asked the local filmmaker to help us a bit. And what came out of that was really us. We just presented the office. We presented the people that work with us. We have quite some nationalities in our team, and they all came saying to the camera, we will not let hate win, but everybody said it in its own language. And it was very strong. And I think the client was really touched by this movie. When we had the first submission for the competition, it was a video conference. Mm-hmm. And we started by showing this movie, and the client was really touched and asked us to stop because they were all in tears.
Vous étiez très sincère.
You were very sincere.
Yes, we just showed who we were. So that was the beginning, and I think that was part of why we won, because we got to touch them. We saw it. We got them. They felt like working with us, and we felt like working with them, because when we met them at the site visit, there was a good contact as well. And I think that was maybe already half of the winning scheme, because they felt that there was this mix and match, or how do you say that? We got along very well.
I think there was a real connection between people, and that was something that we felt really strongly happy with, and apparently they felt also connected to us and to the approach of our office, which is very open-minded, and we have a lot of people from different countries, and so I think they found something that was reflecting also their wish of being more tolerant and being more open to everything. And the fact also that we were a little bit fresh somehow, because as Isabel was saying, our competitors were kind of used to work on those kind of national museums or memorials, and something that could be a disadvantage for us to be more fresh was actually a real strength. And then there was a project also, because our proposal, of course, we were very motivated. We had to work all over summer to produce a scheme and to work with many different people, which is also not easy. A strong artist who has a strong opinion. The office of Denis Montel also have their opinion, and the landscape architect. Everyone has an opinion, and often you say, to do a good project, you have to take control and to be also a captain. And we said we want everybody to speak, but in the end, we had this great way to connect ourselves through very simple things, which was color, nature, and water.
Justement, quel rôle, selon vous, joue la volumétrie dans la faculté de se rappeler et de se mettre en situation de résilience?
What role does volume play in the ability to remember and be resilient?
Well, it's not only volume, but it's really context, space, and for us, context is also the physical context of the city, which has inspiration for us, and also the natural context, which is the landscape. And Orlando is a city that is somehow not very appealing in a way, because it's pretty flat. It's the climate is also almost tropical, and but there is a sense of but it's always sunny. For what we've seen, and but it's pretty quiet, and there are a lot of very long suburbs with industrial zones that needed to find also new identities. So Actually, we thought that in order to reflect also what you see in Orlando, which is there's a lot of lakes, water everywhere, ponds, and also to reconnect and to match with the new city with some old parts which were not really nice to live in. We needed to work with the landscape and natural elements such as water, planting trees to create new promenades, shaded promenades, and bringing elements of architecture that were very open to natural elements such as light, space, and natural ventilation. And so we played with that more than a pure, fantastic, volumetric gesture. We played with senses, how to capture the air, how to capture the light, and how it can influence your behavior when you enter such a sensitive place, such as a memorial. So actually, we created a small park rather than a building. I wouldn't call it a piece of building, but really a park where you have some space inside where you can get in, get out, look at the sky, touch the walls, sit in the park, bend yourself along a tree, and which is what we like in architecture is that it doesn't have a purpose. It doesn't have to have a purpose. It can also be a place where you just want to be, and you don't come for a reason, but actually maybe you come there and you feel good and you stay longer than you have expected. So there's a lot about that in this project of the memorial especially.
And if we want to talk about volume, it was quite a challenge to make this nightclub a memorial, because it's not like the most beautiful building there is. I mean, it's a nightclub. So how do you transform a nightclub in a memorial? And we designed a canopy that is kind of wrapped around the building and that brings the visitor towards the entry of the memorial. So we played it very soft regarding to the memorial. I can almost say that there was more of a void than a volume around this nightclub or around this memorial. However, on the contrary, for the museum, we went for the volume because we wanted something strong in the city, a strong sign that there is this museum that can be seen from everywhere, from the highway, from everywhere in the city. So it's funny to have volume and void at the same time.
The memorial is more like an abstract piece of architecture because we're going to repaint it in black, which was the original color, make it as simple as possible, and just by creating a seize in the volume, an opening. It's just answer to what we wanted to express, which is. This place was closed and was closed dramatically. Why not reopening this place to sky, to air, and for people also to get in, but without seeing. We don't need to see what has happened, and I mean what happened, and everybody knows. But we want people to feel close to it and to open this place to air, so you can breathe again. You can breathe and find some peace somehow. And as Isabel was saying, the museum on a different aspect has more an expressive side because he somehow wants to tell a story to a much wider public, to tell the story of what happened and to tell a story of how can we not let that happen again. So we don't want this building to be shy. We want this building to really go up in the sky and almost shout to people that we have to fight for these dramatic events not to happen, and we have to come together. And so that's why the museum is like a very vertical project with a void inside, which we call the agora. The agora is a space for people to gather and reunite together, to try to focus and think about how can we work on that.
Their slogan is "We will not let hate win." So that's the subject, that's the issue.
On est pressé de découvrir ce résultat, le résultat de cet exercice difficile.
We're eager to discover the results of this difficult task.
Quel est le calendrier? La livraison est prévue pour quand?
When is the project going to be ready?
Yeah, the project is on tracks really actively, and so after winning the competition at the end of the year, we traveled to US just before lockdown to speak to every communities, to present it, to get also critiques and comments, so we can improve the scheme. And now we just started to develop the schematic design, and the product should be ready for, I think. The most part of it and the whole part of it will be ready in about early 2024. But the memorial will be ready actually faster because it's a smaller piece. Then the whole thing will be open to public in 2024.
Pour conclure, qu'auriez-vous envie de dire à nos auditeurs américains, qui sont nombreux?
To conclude, what would you like to say to our American listeners?
Well, that we are extremely honored to have these chances in our career to work on such a project. Of course, it's as we said, it's very sensitive, but also what we explain to our clients that being French and living in France, France also has suffered also from tragedies, and so that's also one of the reasons why we wanted to get in and to participate, and it helped us also to bring some of our energy to work together with an American client and the community of Orlando. It's a very human aspect that is touching everybody, and it goes beyond culture and countries. So for us, it's we're honored, and we want to thank also our clients and the city of Orlando that have selected us. So just a big thank you.
Yes, to
and
everybody.
We'll do our best.
Yes, big thank you to everybody who gave a lot of good support, also good feedback, positive feedback when they came to the museum and judge the different projects. There were a lot of people who liked our proposal and who got it, who understood our point of view. So that's very motivating for us. So you can count on us to give all the energy we have to make this project fantastic.
So thank you very much, Isabel and Thomas. And thank you to my translator.
My pleasure.
Very much.
My pleasure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
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 Bye-bye. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to tune in to our previous content on Instagram at comdarchipodcast. If you like it, make sure to promote the podcast by giving it 5 stars on Apple Podcast and adding a comment, or on any of your favorite podcast platforms. And don't forget to subscribe and listen to all of our episodes for free. See you soon, and until then, take care of yourself.